Hello, everyone, and welcome to Overwatch University Season 3 Opener. I'm Pimpin' the Crib, and joining me today is Tormented by Gnomes and Mukai Kubo. How are you doing, Tormented?
Fantastic. I'm really excited to be here, Pimp. We've all been looking forward to season three. It's going to be the biggest and the best one yet. There are a lot of changes that have gone through to the league to make it a little bit more competitive. And I'm just excited to be here with you and Mukai. How you doing, Mookie?
I'm doing great, except for the head cold, but you can hardly tell. I've been draining Dayquil all day just to prepare for this because I wasn't going to miss opening day.
Yeah, me neither. I know I've had a little issues. There's a little bit of people being under the weather lately, at least here on the NA side. But forget that. We got games to cast today as we got Division 1 teams, Sky City going up against Kablam. I'm really excited for week 1, and we have a high tier teams here. I heard someone in chat saying Kablam is possibly a contenders team. I know Sky City right now, they're having a little issue grabbing some subs, so we're having a bit of a delay here, and we had a little bit of a delay on our intro. But I'm happy to be here with you guys. And are you guys excited to see these games or what?
Oh God, I am so excited. These two teams, I like what they look like when you look at them. When I ask them, well, how did you form? How often did you practice? Because that's often really a good determiner of how well they're going to play in a tournament like this. Both of these teams, they've known each other, they've competed each other, they practice regularly. That generally means we're going to get to see some pretty crisp gameplay, regardless of SR.
Yeah, and
Always nice to see.
no, go ahead.
I was in a 3v3 earlier, just doing a tournament with some friends, and the sheer difference that you see, there's the difference of higher level players just being better at clicking on people's heads until they stop moving, and then there's the difference of watching people execute plays, things that you can clearly tell have been rehearsed, have been worked over with coaches or analysts, drilled in after time and time again. And that's what I'm expecting to see out of our first round of matches here.
Yeah, it looks like we
It is
might be
going to be a
having.
pretty interesting clash of styles, too. On one side, you've got Sky City, and looking at the heroes they tend to play in comp, they look like they're a classic dive team. They've got a Winston, a Diva, Zen, Lucio, Tracer, Genji. But when you talk to them, and try to talk to every team that we're going to cast, they say that their specialty is their triple tank deathball. So if they can go back and forth between a dive and a triple tank when the situation demands, that's a really flexible team to be able to pull both of those strategies out on different maps.
I don't know about you, I kind of miss triple tank. It's my dirty little secret.
Oh, I miss triple tank. I loved triple tank as a Roadhog main.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember a couple of instances where you used that to great effect. I am
The
excited that
incidents.
the incident, which will not be mentioned. I am excited to see Roadhog making a bit of a reappearance in the meta, both at the contenders level, the high tier, and throughout the queue. What else stands out about these teams? What do you think about the differences in their styles and their past experience and so forth?
Well, the most obvious difference is that, as we've mentioned, Kablam is a team they actually formed back when the Open Division began, and they've been going through and they've been doing a lot of competition in other amateur tournaments. So they know what it's like to compete in tournaments that are even a little bit bigger than ours. So there's no going to be any
Perish the
pressure
thought.
here. And yeah, you can see up on the stream that we do have a different format for this season. We used to have home maps and we would play a best of three. This season, like a lot of other tournaments like World Cup, like Contenders, we're going to be playing 4 maps every single match. Each week, we're going to lead off with a control map. And then the loser of that will pick which hybrid map they want to do. The loser of that will pick which assault map they want to do. And the loser of that will pick an escort map to finish us out.
Another key difference that you're going to see in season three of the Overwatch University League is that the overall structure of divisions and the game itself have changed. Instead of focusing primarily on the group stage, a round robin pool of, say, 10 players who all play each other over the course of the season, we're now doing a very structured group phase leading into a playoff phase. This has resulted in larger divisional pools than before with a slightly bigger SR spread. The idea being that no matter how good you are within your bracket, you have a chance to make it up. There's a lot of room for upsets here because a team that may not be favored in the group stage can push their way to the top, and a team that looks like a shoe in for playoffs can get outplayed by teams with lower SR but better coordination and teamwork. So this should lead up to some better hype once we get into the playoff section of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing which teams make it out of pools. There's not a lot of information yet, obviously, since only the first few matches have started to trickle in.
And both of these teams, they've sound in questions like they've got a secret weapon. On Kablam's side, their main Lucio, Joey, actually plays a mean Mei as well, they tell me. And they've also been practicing a lot of Junkrat, even before the buff patch hits, which it's going to hit partway through the season. I know Gnomes is shaking his head because he hates Junkrat, but I think we're going to see a steady diet of them. We may even see it tonight. And on the other side with Sky City, they think that their secret weapon is their Reinhardt. They think that if they can all get behind Hanji on Reinhardt and just push through in a death ball, they really like where that leads them.
I miss Reinhardt so much. Again, another hero I'm really excited to see make a comeback. And I don't know about Pimp, who shares my disdain for the Trash Mouse, but if that's the sacrifice that it takes to bring back the guy with the hammer, then maybe it's worth it. My disdain for Trash Mouse has absolutely nothing to do with his effectiveness. I've been watching some other tournaments recently. We had DreamHack in Montreal, even Contenders a little bit, where the pro scene is really starting to pick up using Junkrat. Once you get a tire going up over the walls of King's Row, etc., especially with the increased speed and the reduced noise on that ultimate, it's basically turned him into Dunkrat.
Yeah, Junkrat is cool and good and my friend. Sorry, both of you, but I really like him. I've been trying to pick him up in solo queue. It's going to be interesting to see how teams start to weave him into other comps as they go forward.
Yeah, I only dabble with him in quick play. I do not dare to use him in comp just because I would be contradicting my my own religion there by doing that. So, but I do dabble with him a little bit in quick play, and I do see he has he can be a bit effective, especially with the rise of Doomfist as well. Not only to counter dive but Doomfist as well. He has a bit of a counter to him, putting that trap down on the ground, and plus having two mines really makes him a bit a bit a bit overpowered. I mean, it's hard to adjust him without getting rid of that one hit mechanic that people like. But
what I mostly see the pros complaining about is the ultimate.
Yeah, well,
I
because
mean,
it's silent. I think another thing is that it's silent too. So I think I'm not sure if that's was a bug that it's got silent when it's like. I feel like it's like I'm pretty sure it's like in the air. It's a bit silent, so I'm not sure if that's a little bit of a bug, but. I'm sure Blizzard has an eye on that. We all know how they are with their patches. We do know that there is we got Mercy changes coming in, so who knows what's gonna happen when Mercy and Diva both have changes come into play. So who knows if we'll see a Junkrat today from either Kablam or Sky City. I mean, it's very possible. If we take a look here at Kablam's roster, they do have a sub in today. Boy is a sub for them. Going to be playing that Soldier 76. So they have a pretty one of the standard dive comps. They had a Tracer player or sub before, but they replaced him with the Soldier sub. So we'll see if that's going to be their main comp. Mukai, I know you did a little bit of research on this team. What are some other comps you might see coming out from Kablam?
From Kablam, I do really like the dive comp for them. Both teams, I like the dive comp not just because it's meta, but because they have a lot of players that play heroes that fit into it. You've got the Diva, you've got the Winston there. When you've got those two, you can just throw them into the back line. You're probably going to get at least one pick off of those. When you throw in a Genji, when you throw in a Zenyatta with some good discords, if they're on the ball, we could see dive versus dive, especially on this opening King of the Hill map.
Dive versus dive, that'd be a huge change. I haven't seen any of that for the last several months.
Yep, so, and then...
A couple of things...
This is a Division 1 match, as Gnomes mentioned earlier. Just so the people have a little reference, most of the Division 1 teams are high masters, low grandmasters, so that ballparks things for you. Match after this tonight, Division 5, those are around the gold plat borderline, because Overwatch University League, we don't have any limits on who can sign up. Bronzes are welcome, GMs are welcome. We'll take everyone, and we've got people of every single rank in this league.
And we will do our best to make sure that the two groups that Mukai just mentioned will not be playing each other.
Yes, that's very important to note.
Absolutely. A couple of things tying back to something you said a bit earlier, Pimp. One, what happens in quick play stays in quick play. And two, well, I'm sure there was a number two, but I just can't get over thinking about how effective Junkrat is. There's the classic maps that he's going to be good at, right? Anything that has a choke. You've got Eichenwald, Volskaya, a lot of those. But he's also started to see a lot more effectiveness on King's Row as one of the best maps that he's come out with. And I know that I'm tying back. We were talking about the league, but I wanted to get that thought out of my head before it flew off into the ether.
Yep. Now, the other side, Sky City, I know they're looking for some subs, but what do we have a little bit about this team? You know, I know we talked a little bit earlier, but we've been talking so much about Kablam, and I know chat's been all about Kablam because, you know, they are, you know, possible contenders team, or maybe, I think that was just a joke, but I mean, who knows? They did play an open division. We do know that, so let's see, you know, you were saying they played a lot, but what about Sky City? I know they're going to have a lot of subs today. We do have Horoscope and Oben from their actual team in here, but we also have 2 subs that are in here. We're waiting for 2 more of their players to get into the lobby.
Yeah, they're basic team, and it's hard to say what they're going to be able to pull off with the subs. But as I mentioned, they can dive, they can triple tank, and specifically the triple tank that I see for them based on what they play in comp, they've got a Reinhardt, and then they've got a Winston and a Roadhog, and I really like that trio of tanks, especially if you build it around a soldier to help beat down other shields and pick off flankers. It's a comp that can work in maps where triple tank can work at all. You got a lot of beef clogging up the choke point. And I'm getting a little distracted by in-game chat where they're arguing about Sims games, so sorry for that.
Yep, and they're talking about Minecon. I know. I'm not going to Minecon. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but
are you kidding? It's the esports event of the year.
Yeah,
it is.
That is a killer blow to your career not to be at Minecon, my man.
And per request, Guppy would like a shout out. Guppy loves his mom. That's all. Nothing else about him is going to matter this match.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we are going to be playing on Lijiang Tower first. I know it says Oasis here for us, but we will be seeing Lijiang Tower. Anything? Did we learn anything about maps from these teams?
We did. Sky City actually said that one of their 2 best maps is Lijiang Tower. They're going to be looking to try to make a statement early. What's going to work against them is that they're also going to be trying to synchronize with a few subs at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they're on their home turf versus they've got a player or 2 who's unfamiliar with them. I think if they can pull out the Lijiang win, they're in good shape. If they can't, they might be in real trouble. For the other team, they were a bit more canny. They didn't want to tell me so I could blab out to everyone which maps they preferred most. But they did say they didn't feel weak at any maps. They were okay with a lot of them and then really good with a few that they refused to divulge. If they lose, we might see one of the ones that they think they're really good at because as it is now, loser picks next map.
One thing that I noticed with this map format at the World Cup in particular, and this has been less prevalent during contenders because some of the endemic esports teams prefer maps like Volskaya, for example. Envious loves Volskaya. But at the World Cup, almost at least 75% of the time that the assault mode came up, the map of choice was Horizon Lunar Colony. And so it just came up again and again and again. I feel that assault is one of the map types where a team is looking to have a very specific strategy. You don't practice all 4 maps. You get extremely good at 1 or 2 of them, have those in your pocket, and then keep those ready. Another thing that I noticed with the new format, in the majority of games, whenever there was a 3-1, the 1 was almost always assault. As we all know and love about 2CP, it has a real tendency to be volatile and unstable. There's a lot of snowball potential there. So having a pocket pick as one of the 2CP maps can be really helpful. One of the strategies of teams in Overwatch University League Season 2 was to pick a home map, something like, say, Volskaya, Anubis, one of those off maps that gets a lot of flame and salt, and be really, really good at that in order to drop that on teams.
Yeah, about Horizon Lunar Colony being in so many being like the most picked map. I mean, I'm not sure. Do you know? Is it because the map's new and they're hoping that the other team hasn't practiced on it as much, or do you think it's just that people really like that map compared to all the other 3 2CP maps? Because we knew that teams for a while, like there were a few NA teams for a while that weren't practicing 2CP maps because no one would pick those, but then they would go over to Apex or something, and then they would play against Korean teams or teams out there, and they would get demolished on 2CP maps because they didn't have the practice on that. So I mean, do you think the Horizons picked because it's a new map, or do you think it was picked more often because that it's just like they're bored of, or they think they're hoping the other team has a practice on it?
I think
I
it's
have
a little
theory
bit of
about that,
both.
but I want to hear from Mukai first.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, there's always the shiny new toy syndrome with new maps, but I think because Horizon is the least defense tilted of the 2CP maps, teams that have to play it, they're going to go with Horizon because it at least feels like it's less of a stall fest than all the others. It feels like you can get some good offense done on it, and that's why I think teams that don't like 2CP gravitate towards Horizon when they have to play 2CP.
Pretty much same. I feel that Blizz and our Lord and Savior Jeff Kaplan have been moving in a direction as they learn more and more. They've now come out with a new map type for all 4 of the main games, and they've taken what they've learned from frustration with the assault mode and really implemented that into the design of Horizon. It feels different from all the other maps in terms of being defense sided, even though the respawn point is still right there. For some reason, the access to the point, uh, one of the things that really stands out for me, if you look at Hanamura, for example, if you go from the back where the spawns come out to the front of that point with the balcony and the 2 windows on the side, it's a lot of space there. On Volskaya, or rather on Lunar Colony, there's a lot of vertical space, but there isn't as much horizontal space. That bay is large, but it's not as deep as Hanamura, meaning that the attackers have a little bit more cover, even though the points of attack are still pretty hotly contested. They have a little more cover as they make their approach. So I really think that teams
Absolutely.
are just frustrated with the older 3 maps, even as tweaks get made to respawn timers and the game mode, etc. And they feel that Horizon is just a better balanced map overall.
And I feel like on Horizon, especially with both points, the major approaches are all on high ground. If you're attacking, you're almost always going to have the height advantage over the defenders, unless you pick one very specific way to attack the points, which almost you have to try to not have height advantage, and that negates a lot of the spawn advantage that you see usually in 2CP defense maps. And Sky City says that they've got both their subs and are just getting them in Discord and in the game, so hopefully the overtalk won't have to go on too much longer.
But we appreciate everyone's patience. We're glad that you're with us for the opening games. We're excited to get this season underway, and we hope to bring you some top tier Overwatch very shortly.
Yeah, and while we're waiting, you just want to give a reminder to everyone, as you can see here at the bottom of the stream, what's flashing around. Please go to our social media, our Twitter, follow us at OW University. You know us here at twitch.tv/OW University, our website, owuniversity.com, and of course our YouTube, OW University. Please go there. If you want to follow, see previous games, you can go to our YouTube. If you want to get updates from us, you can go to our Twitter, and obviously to watch us like you are right now, come to our Twitch and give us a follow. We're creeping up on that 1,000 follower count, I believe, if we haven't hit it yet.
We have 916 followers.
We're very close, so you guys can hit that follow for us. Get us up to that 1,000. We will be streaming every Saturday here, 6 p.m. Central Time, and hopefully we can get our EU stream back up as we had some issues recently, so hopefully we get that back up. Those games will be starting at 1900 British Standard Time. And just a reminder that we will be doing, if this is your first time being here, I do give away some stickers. I have some OW University stickers here, so I will be doing probably 3 of those giveaways today, a bit between the games, and also it will be between some rounds and also between some games. So stay tuned. I will be posting those giveaways in our chat box. So stay alert. You'll hear me talking about the giveaway. So we do
the
have
world needs more alerts.
Yeah,
be alert.
We do have everyone from Sky City here. And I do actually have their roster that I will be posting up shortly. So hopefully they will be starting up pretty soon. And they have the lobby ready. They have the map selected. Here's the updated list. I didn't clear those roles, but we do not have any information on those 4 players from this. So unfortunately, they have 4 subs, I think, unless some are reserve players. I don't have any information on those, but we do have their team's info, some of it. So, Lijiang, are they getting ready to start the game, guys?
They are close. We're just making it best of 3 instead of best of 5 now.
Oh, yep, yep. So that's one another change that we've had this season, along with the way comps going and the way that like World Cup and contenders are doing with control maps. They've been doing best of 3. I know this for a while. I do love having a best of 5 game, especially when it comes down to that 2-2 tie. You wait for it's almost like a sudden death round, pretty much. So I do love those games, but they do drag on pretty long, especially because there's so many times that there's like overtime happening in those games where it just gets dragged on beyond 99%. So having that at best of 3, it's gonna be better for us as a league, as casters and community as well. Teams are pretty much getting ready. So we'll be starting shortly.
Yeah,
Sorry
we're
for the
just about
delay.
ready. They're about to start in seconds here. We're almost there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited to announce that all players are ready, and we are going into the first match of Overwatch University League Season 3. Let the hype commence.
And we are going with Lijiang Tower. And let's see, which map are we going? Looks like we are starting with Night Market here. What do you like or don't like about Night Market? Because I've got to say, of all 3 Lijiang maps, this one might be my least favorite, just because I always feel like I get booped off the backside of the point.
Well, I was going to say something about getting booped off the backside of the point. I am not a fan of that backside there. No comment. It's so vulnerable, and it really turns it into highly volatile. You got a Junkrat, you got a Pharah, you got a Lucio. There are some maps where you pretty much have to have those characters. Sanctum on Nepal comes to mind as well. And here, unless your team is ready to climb, fly, or jump their way to freedom, you got to stay away from that back area. One other thing that I often see on this map is Reinhardt instead of Winston. This one does favor, at least once you get onto the point, Reinhardt is a solid choice.
Yeah, and this one is one of the ones where it's so different between attacking the point and trying to hold the point. Some King of the Hill maps, it's kind of a more fluid engagement. Here, it's very definitely well broken up between the 2 attack-defense sides.
And we are off, ladies and gentlemen, on the side of Kablam, currently playing in the red. Joey on Lucio, Boy on McCree, Nick on Pharah, Hypnot on Winston, Claw of Death on Mercy, and I'm No Pro on Diva. And they are already engaging in the center, pushing all the way through into their opponent's space. But Drolan gets the drop on Boy, taking him out. They're now contesting through the primary courtyard. Both Pharahs doing the majority of the damage here. But nothing to be said for those Winstons popping down. Looks like the Kablam is taking the better of the engagement so far with some even trades on both sides. Pharah Mercy now hovering over the point with Diva giving them cover. Lucio still running around fairly uncontested, slowly starting to trickle things over. I thought for a moment that Kablam was gaining control, but now they're starting to drop left and right. What were the key elements of this fight that you see so far, Mukai?
It was all about the Pharmacy play on both sides that I see. They got the initial picks, and the fight didn't really turn until Sky City got a pick off on Nick.
Can we just talk about how fast that ult was right there? Droland already popping the barrage. That really shows that the Pharmacies were the major carries of the first whole engagement.
And Claw of Death, the Mercy for Kablam, already has ult ready. Hypnot on Winston already has his ult ready. So they're going to be able to engage with ult advantage, even though they lost the first point.
Kablam now going in through the front, diving onto the point, staying completely away from the back area. And we have an Angry Monkey coming out from Hypnot, countered out by the sound barrier. And most of the battle moving around to the back now, but the tanks and DPS still engaging on the primary point. Self-destruct going off, not going to see anything there, but a nice refresh. The Winston's now carrying this fight if the Pharaohs were carrying the last one. Nice pulse bomb onto Hypnot. He goes flying into oblivion. Here comes Nick with an answer to that barrage, managing to de-mech Moonlight. Will it be enough to cap out the point? There's still, Horoscope brings back Moonlight out of mech though. Doesn't last for long. I don't think that this push on the side of Kablam is going to be enough to dislodge Sky City.
No, I think they're going to probably want to pull back pretty soon. Diva's all alone and isolated, and so is Winston. But there comes in the res from Claw of Death, a single res trying to keep it up, but they keep getting picked off almost immediately after. I don't see that res doing much for them.
Yeah, Sky City holding strong here with 65%. Skirmishes going around all over the place. Another barrage out of Drolan. Absolutely savage on that front. I'm expecting a big pulse bomb out of Red soon enough.
And yeah, that fight, Sky City had control of it almost from the start to the finish. There were only a few moments where it looked a little ropey, and now if you look at it, they've got all of the ults in the world to defend this, and they're already at 85%.
Yes. Thaumaturgy engaging Drolan, coming around from the side, trying to cut them off as they go through spawn, this time focusing, going down the middle. Nick on Genji, hoping to rack up probably a quick Dragon Blade. I don't know if it's going to be enough. D.Va Bomb goes out. Tac Visor is now on during that small gap when D.Va was out of suit, but there's too many defensive barriers going on right here for that really to get a whole lot of value. Supportal combat, Horoscope goes down. Watching Drolan here trying to take out the point. Gets mowed down by, oh man. This is a strong showing now from the side of Kablam, retaking with 99%.
And what they did really well, they went after two of the heroes on Sky City who had their ults, Red and Horoscope. And we're going to go see a replay on the Winston play in that last retake for Kablam here. So let's go ahead and see what is going on with that.
The Winstons have been pretty key in several of these engagements. You don't always see kills coming out with the little broken glasses of the Primal Rage, but here in these close quarters, they have been doing a lot of the work in combination with the Pharah. We haven't seen a whole great amount out of Nick yet on that Genji. Let's take a look at Rad, see if we can get that Pulse Bomb, which should be able to open up this fight. Going right in the middle, throws it, and it's eaten by D.Va. That is a no-go on the Pulse Bomb. Advantage handed over to Blam after that key ultimate is lost. Holy now going ape and almost gets Claw of Death down to a sliver of health, but that is no dice. The res comes out from Horoscope, bringing back a tank and a support. The nuke is off, and there is Nick with the Dragon Blade. Let's see if he's able to get anything out of it. He takes out a support. Both supports now down, but Drolan with the barrage immediately countered out by Nick on the Genji. That was a great fight on their side, and they were able to flip it, but not a lot of momentum left.
Absolutely, and what Kablam did well in the last fight, they went after Mercy, who had res up and immediately killed her. This time they weren't able to, and Horoscope was able to dance around until she pulled off the 2 res to basically secure that team fight. And now there's going to be a desperate little fight on the point here. See if Sky City can retake.
There's the Tac Visor out of Boy. Gets one little bit of value in combination with Nick before being taken out. Yet another Angry Monkey.
Dueling
Battle of
monkeys.
the Titans.
Oh, they're just pounding each other in the corner there. Context.
Oh, and after that engagement, it looks like we are going to see... This could honestly go either way. We are down to the wire, but that kill feed is red, ladies and gentlemen. Kablam picking it up with several more kills. A desperate nuke
And it's
down
going
the
to be
middle.
down to Winston to try to hold it, but he's not even going to try. And that was a lost cause.
We have a bit of a pause here, ladies and gentlemen. It's an audio issue on the part of one of the players. They mentioned it before the round began, so I don't expect this to take too long. Any comments, Mukai, on the relative strengths?
We're going to see a Genji replay here, first of all, from Nick on Kablam. So he played a really key role in that last fight, getting some important picks. So let's see how he did.
Being able to put pressure onto the supports and cut them off in those key engages. We saw a lot of sound barriers being used during that last fight, and being able to cut that off, or say as Zenyatta before they were able to pop their ult, definitely key. We will, not sure what the situation is with this pause, but I expect it to be resolved shortly, folks.
The thing I noticed is that Oholi on Winston for Sky City, he seemed to have a very laser focus on the Lucio. Every time he got ult, he went after the Lucio, and every time he did, he managed to punch Joey on Lucio off a cliff, but that was only once really enough to win the fight for them, because Lucio was able to delay it so much that Oholi really didn't have enough time to go and target anyone else. And now for our second map, ooh, I love this one, Gnomes. What do you think about this map?
I do like this one. You have to be careful on this one, though. Otherwise, you're going to end up as a Reddit clip. We literally say watch out for the Reddit boop as we go over the main bridges in the front. But the back bridge can be such a choke point that, depending on which way you go out in the middle, you can end up with your entire team locked down and dead there.
And boy, it looks like they're bringing out Widowmaker for this, so that'll be a major change on Kablam's side to their... Yeah, they're going to engage with a Widowmaker.
Nope, swapped off to the Soldier. We have a relative mirror comp here, ladies and gentlemen, with the Pharahs opening up the engagement, coming over the side, battle here in the courtyard. Nick trying to lay down some fire, focusing onto Oholi, who almost gets taken out. Good support play there. Oh, nope. Oholi is down. Boy was on the ground. And there's air-to-air combat going on. Meanwhile, Nick dives down over the top, takes out Red, his counterpart, and is back up engaging against Droland. A direct hit, nothing done there. Winston comes in as the Flying Monkey Cavalry. And meanwhile, D.Va just cleaning up I'm No Pro, kind of putting the lie to their username and giving Kablam the point.
And what I noticed there is that after Kablam dove, the rest of their team caught up very quickly, so that the two divers, they weren't out on a limb for very long. And the other thing is that Claw of Death did a very good job evading a kill shot when they were down to about 20 hit points. And because of that, they almost have res up already.
Excellent. Meanwhile, the next engagement taking place on the point once again here. Aholy diving in over the side with Blam running around on the back. Aholy barely manages to escape as the engagement continues over here. A couple of supports a little bit out of position, in danger of getting taken out. Checking in on Nick in the skies. Ooh, Droland with the ult completely canceled out by D.Va, and then Boy pops off with attack visor to clean up the engagement. Gotta say, being able to completely negate that ultimate probably saved him the fight.
Yeah, I'm No Pro on D.Va for Kablam is having an excellent map this time. That first fight, getting picks all over the place, winning the D.Va duel, just nullified one ult and almost nullified another there. So far, they're the MVP of this map.
Speaking of ult, Sky City now coming in with a very full war chest, nearly 5 on the board to the 3 of Kablam, opting now to attack through the back bridge instead of going through the
Watch out for the barrage.
Let's see where that comes, and off goes the barrage. Didn't seem to get a whole lot of value, canceled out nicely by that sound barrier. Nick takes out Red as the battle continues. And we are starting to see a couple of kills negated out by Claw of Death with that res key getting back the support and the tank in that engagement. The back bridge, Aholy is now diving after, chasing away the stragglers.
And Claw of Death took a big risk there. She ulted in res just to get back to an even 50-50 fight. And now it looks like that fight might be going against her because Horoscope was able to wait in res when it would shift the numbers advantage to Sky City.
And given the ult situation with the combination of unlucky, Monkey takes a dive. Given the ult situation bringing back, that second res, they had a lot to work with after that. Now we have the Sombra, probably a strategy just to try to get on the point to keep their hopes of winning this map alive. Did not last for very long. A single Lucio spinning around on the top. Joey absolutely making them work for their supper. As
made them work long enough.
Yep. Kablam starts pouring in. That is how you keep a point alive in overtime, ladies and gentlemen. And Boy pops off the tack visor. We are in mop-up mode. Tracer can't help you. Nobody can help you.
What a quad kill tack visor right at the end there from Boy, just to finish it out. 4 kills for that tack visor, and that put the dagger in. 100 on that second map, and that'll be Kablam winning control. So we're going to have Sky City picking the next map.
So the play of the game is Soldier here, Boy, popping that ult just to clean up and secure the victory. And given the show that we had over in Night Market as opposed to Garden, where that one went 99-99, what do you think happened that allowed Kablam to attack so decisively? Was it a difference in strategy on this map? Was it them kind of warming up and dealing with their opponents?
I think this just played to their strengths a little more. I think it was their comp, their pharmacy, and their D.Va. They had a much better map here than when they were in Night Market. And just watching the way, especially that D.Va was able to clean up on that first fight, that set the tone, and Sky City was never really able to counter. I might have wanted to see a D.Va there coming out to try to counter the Zarya there to try to counter the D.Va, but didn't see much in the way of swaps at all there. And I think Kablam, once they established that they had this, I don't know if Sky City with their 2 subs felt able to flex.
So it was really a matter of the same tools, the same players, but a different playing field that went from even and even to advantage Kablam.
That's what it looked like to me. I was very impressed with how Kablam came out on that second map. They didn't really lose a single team fight.
And when you keep the momentum going like that, especially on Control, where the first battle matters so much, it's really hard to make a comeback.
And we are going to King's Row next. That is Sky City's pick for the hybrid map. King's Row, one of the most popular maps in the game. It's got a lot of good vertical and horizontal space at the same time. Lets a bit more diversity of comps flourish here.
It's the D-Dust of Overwatch, in my opinion. One of the maps that's been around for the longest, sees some of the most play.
Yes, and the basis of the wonderful PvE environment so far, which I wish they would do more of.
Yeah, just make that a game mode, Blizz. Put it in the arcade, please, Kaplan.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be doing much different with the comps so far. We'll see if some of these early picks are just kind of playing with us. We have the trash mouse out here for you gnomes, just for you, I'm sure.
Trash Mouse, Hanzo, and Widow, clearly a winning combination.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about this defensive lineup. Sky City taking up position on the backside of the point. This is a classic dive comp with one major difference, and that is Horoscope playing Ana. We have Droland on Genji, Red on Tracer. Again, all the elements of a dive comp, except that instead of playing Zenyatta or even the mobile Mercy, we see that Ana. How do you think this is going to play into their strategy?
It's very interesting. I think they're going to be looking for the Nano just to try to make a dive with Genji that much more vicious. It's interesting, though, because Horoscope is kind of a Zenyatta main, so if the Ana doesn't go well after that first Nano, might see the robot come back out.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have Kablam, and it looks like they are at least somewhat serious about this comp. The Trash Mouse is in play.
Yes!
Boy, the only difference is that Joey swapped off to Lucio, and we do get to see some Rhine play. So they aggressively move around, swing around the right-hand side, completely pushing Sky City off the point. Now, that Widow pick not working out for them as they drop several of their members. And not quite getting...
Beautiful play by Hypnot on Reinhardt there. Bullied the Ana to death and then charged Lucio to death, and then Firestruck Tracer. Excellent initiation by Hypnot, excellent follow-up by Hypnot.
We're seeing a good example of that bend, don't break gameplay here. We saw Sky City completely withdraw from the point and then try to push back, and I thought it was going to work. But then Kablam was able to pull off the exact same thing. Take a couple of hits, pull back, wait for an opening, drive it home, and then capture the point essentially in the first push.
Yeah, and you can see Horoscope has switched to Zenyatta, as we expected might happen if they ran into a little problem early. So Horoscope is on the healer that he's more comfortable with now, and we are going to see a bit more of a classic dive defense now.
Whereas, on the other side, one thing that would really go well in the favor of Sky City would be to swap to a Pharah. I know that some people say Dunkrat counters Pharah, but it's a soft counter at best. Pushing now down the streets phase with Sky City on the defense, claiming that high ground. Now here comes the dive onto the cart with Oh Holy going through the back. There's the sound barrier. Oh, an Earth Shatter got two, cleaning up, and a pulse bomb that gets absolutely nothing done. Boy sweeps through in the wake of that Earth Shatter, and then takes another, swatting Horoscope for an excellent delay. And again, a single team fight, and they break through to the last part of the street.
That was vicious, and we're going to see that on replay so we can take another look at how that team fight went down here. And I think the main difference on there was, I think it was again the Reinhardt play, but let's take a look at that in the corner here. Oh, no, we're going to look at Junkrat and how they played.
Had to be Junkrat. Oh, speaking of Junkrat, there goes
Ult
the tire,
comes out.
sneaking, hides, and then pops right back out to take out a Holy. Kablam has now pushed up to the Foundry phase, and they are aggressively driving in, giving no quarter, putting one person on the cart. Who does this remind you of?
This is a very, very venerable tactic. As soon as you take 1 point, as many people as you can, push as far forward as you can, just try to desynchronize the defenders as they come out, never let them get set. Kablam has executed that to perfection here. They didn't have a chance to stop it in the street phase after they won that one single team fight.
Both of their DPS trying to contest the high ground. Aholi attempting to enforce it with that Ana support. A Horoscope back on Ana, trying to do some damage. Oh boy, on the Dragon Blade in the back. The sound barrier comes out. They're able to completely soak that attack. Eventually, Red takes him down, but there is a Zarya ult on the field, and Zarya plus Hammer equals everybody dies. It looks like they were able to sustain through that. You can see I'm No Pro on Zarya just burning down Moonlight. An excellent counter. Oh, Hypnot goes in the drink. Holy is done with this, bouncing Nick around like a baseball. And so even though they're able to get a couple of parting kills, that'll be a hold.
Yeah, this is the first time that Sky City's really been able to take a breath and regroup. They just got bullied all the way from point A capture all the way to here. And I think the problem started when the Graviton only took down 2 people, and one of them was D.Va, who was just able to tank all the follow-up. So they didn't get the ult they wanted there, but then they saved the rest of their ults for this push.
Speaking of ults, here comes the tire. Nick throwing it over the top, dunking in. And by the time it arrives, 2 members of Sky City are already down. Make that 4. Nano Zarya, and nobody except Horoscope on the point. Here comes Nano Oholi, but he's going to get booped off. No chance to touch the point. And they close it out with 3 minutes and 59 seconds on the clock.
It was a very authoritative final push there. You saw that they had the ult discipline to not keep throwing ults into a lost fight once the Graviton Surge went awry. A lot of teams would have tried to bring in the Riptire to that and completely wasted that ult as well. Instead, Kablam saved it. They burned all 3 of their ults to initiate pretty much simultaneously. And as a result, they were able to just bully everyone off of the payload and push it that last 5 meters to the goal. And taking King's Row with 4 minutes left, that's an extremely good attack.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit difficult for Sky City to put up a similar time. And I'm interested to see what sort of defense comes out of Kablam. I really don't see any reason for Nick to swap off of the Junkrat, but I would like to see Sky City figure out the hole in this comp and put up a Pharah. With Boy showing possibly on the Soldier, it's not necessarily going to work out, but I am interested to see what different tactics the Kablam folks have on defense rather than offense.
The problem is that none of them, except for maybe their subs, really play a lot of Pharah and are used to her. So they might see that that's a good response to what they're being faced with. They might just not be able to take advantage of it. And Nick's being a little cheeky, setting up a mine and bear trap combo right outside the front door because nobody was looking for it. We'll see if Sky City falls for that gold trick there.
Remember, folks, in the spawn room, always keep one person out there to look for cheeky mines, Symmetra nests, Torb turrets, fire blasts at your spawn, etc. The more you know.
You never know what's going to happen. That's why you got to be careful. I don't think they're going to be mostly going out the front anyway, so it might not catch anyone, but it's cheeky, and if it works, it's going to be really funny.
Free ult charge. The sooner you get that tire out, the better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sky City now on the attack.
And it got D.Va.
Oh dear. Well, only 6% charge for Nick there. That is a little bit of an edge, but not massive. Tracer now darting around the back. It looks like their attack is, and they are sticking with Doomfist, folks, going through the Alderworth Hotel to come around to back. Ooh, asleep onto Doomfist. Comboed and immediately taken out. That was classy.
Well, we warned you before the match that Kablam might be pulling out the Junkrat. We're seeing the Junkrat, and the Junkrat's getting value. The Junkrat did just go down, got picked off by Red on Widow, and so we'll see if that disrupts their ability to hold. But for now, they're still doing pretty good.
Sky City's D.Va in a bit of a bad place swinging around there, and Aholi doesn't quite have the presence on the point to dissuade them from just focusing him down.
Oh, what a fire strike.
Again, Hypnot really showing off those Rhine skills in both phases of this map.
Yeah, Hypnot is definitely the MVP of this entire map so far. It's almost every fire strike he's made has either killed somebody or critically weakened someone.
It feels like they're trying to create openings for Red, and Red was putting down kills on Widow, but there were just too many trades going, and you can't afford that. Battle in the Alderworth Hotel. Again, Hypnot crushing Horoscope. Close quarters is not a place you want to be with Junkrat or with the man with the hammer, ladies and gentlemen.
I would have liked to have seen, because you see Red went an entire different way, and along with Moonlight, and so they split their entire team, half going through the hotel, half going through the back way. It didn't really work out for either of them.
That was a painful stagger if you caught that. They would just let Baby D.Va run around until Nick finally put him out of their misery. And it's up to Sky City to formulate a new plan of attack. Caught in the trap there. They are, looks like some of them, again, are trying to take that high ground. Red continuously contesting that high ground. And Aholi now sneaking in through the side.
Here come the ults.
Attack. Ooh, Moonlight taking out the Riptire. No dice on that one. What are we going to see next? There's an Earth Shatter on the menu, ladies and gentlemen.
Now they're all going back to the point altogether. I would have liked to have seen this earlier. This is a much better strategy for King's Row attack.
Oh, there's the Earth Shatter into the Nano Rhine. What meta is this, ladies and gentlemen? Doesn't matter if he's taking a nap. He's got friends. They'll clean up the point for him. Lost the Nano, but wiped the raid.
Even with that, it didn't matter because Kablam was able to win that team fight with authority anyway. And now they've got Red treed and alone back behind the point.
And Horoscope as well, kind of stuck in the same place. If they can,
and he's running.
I don't like his odds. Does look like he's starting to make that escape. But look at the time here, Mookie. A minute
great
20
escape.
seconds on the clock. The dream is alive.
Kablam has eaten a whole lot of time with this first point defense. Even if everything goes perfectly now, I don't believe Sky City will be able to match the time bank. But even if it goes perfectly for them.
They're losing people in this pre-fight phase, and what they need right now is they need Drolin's Nano Blade. They need Horoscope to have Nano, which will happen in a moment, so keep an eye on Drolin, ladies and gentlemen. We're expecting that Nano Blade to come out, even as Boy goes up to contest it. Here comes the Blade. He's diving in there, but there's a Graviton on the field. He's nanoed, but he's stuck in the middle of the black hole. The sound barrier comes out, completely negating that push.
And that's a very bitter pill for Sky City to swallow there. You got the feeling that Kablam was holding ults and did exactly what they wanted to as soon as they heard the sword come out.
They were waiting for that play. At high levels, you can't get, oh, holy, not like this. Hypnot does go down, but with 15 seconds on the clock and Horoscope dropping left and right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to see a first point hold. Kablam over Sky City. 8 seconds left. Can they get on the point? Can they keep it alive? Only Red's their only hope, and Red just went down. They have no ults to play with.
Diva was able to get on.
Yep.
Immediately got pushed out of her mech, but she was able to get on and buy a few
And
seconds
as
at
soon as
least.
the mech goes down, Boy pops the ult. That's 1, 2, 3 in the bank. Nick cleans up on the last one. That will be the candle burning down, and we are 2-0 Kablam over Sky City.
Yeah, not sure what to even say about that. That was a clinic from Kablam from the very first moment where Reinhardt initiated with the, and let's see if no, this isn't it. But he really controlled this attack from start to finish, and then on defense, they were never really able to solve the problems that Kablam was giving them.
The goal of war is to present your enemy with a conundrum, a problem that has no good answers. If you give it one answer, you're going to get bitten by the other part of it. And while no composition is completely immutable and no composition is perfect, if you're able to present your enemy with a problem and they either don't have the tools to solve it, or they aren't able to flexibly switch around and get those tools or those new strategies, then you're just going to see something like this happen. They're going to slam into it again and again and again and get absolutely nowhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are going to take a brief break here between maps, same as contenders and Overwatch World Cup, etc. We're going to give our players a couple moments to consult with their coaches, rethink strategy, get more drinks, etc. So we'll be right back.
We will be taking the stream off a little bit. I got to try to fix a little issue. There's like a little flash that's happening for some reason, driving people nuts. Hopefully that'll fix it up. So we'll see what's happening. We do have Assault coming up next, and then a escort map as well. So Kablam's up 2-0. And yeah, as I said, we will be right back. So sorry for this little change up here. It will be a short little break.
Don't touch that dial.